not in a cytokine storm stage. The cytokine storm really refers to that severe critical illness, which means you're in the hospital or headed there by the time this happens. Um, uh, so luckily that hasn't happened that much, but I know there are some cases where someone has been admitted for severe autoimmune condition and contracted COVID as well. Um, so it's possible. I think whether that makes it worse, I think it's hard to tell right now because it's in isolated cases. But you would presume that that would definitely not be helpful when you were already cytokine storm.
Well, that brings me to my next question too. For those of us who are relatively still in remission or in remission on medication, and in general for all people out there, are there diets, lifestyle, protective measures that people with lupus or the general population can take, uh, and other people with chronic illnesses to protect ourselves against COVID?
Yes, and that's a great question, and that's probably one of the most common ones that we get, I'll say, and and it's right on. I guess I would start off on a fairly positive note. I think for people with lupus is that this is going back to one of the first questions. We don't really know if people with lupus are even any more likely to get COVID than anybody else in the general population. We know that COVID is very infectious, and so whether you have some immunocompromise, meaning your immune system's down, either from having lupus or taking medications that bring your immune system down a little bit, even people with normal immune systems are very susceptible to getting COVID. So, in that way, we may not find a big difference in the risk of getting COVID, whether you have lupus or not. But the main things that you can do are to try to be careful not to come into contact with the virus. And so this is where a lot of the general population guidelines are still the best advice also for people with lupus is to try to, be careful with your exposures, use appropriate social distancing, regular hand washing. These really are the mainstays of preventing viral infection, COVID, and otherwise. And for COVID being a new virus to humans, it's very infectious for us all. So, for some viruses that have been around for a long time, and we have some immunity to these, and we're more prepared to handle these if we're